When the Covenant was first announced, I think everyone cheered, genuinely cheered, that actually, at long last, veterans were getting the care and attention that they deserve. But here in the front line with Veterans Aid, what really interests me is what works and what doesn't work. And I have to say that my experience, and all of our experience here throughout the year, has shown that this Covenant is not worth the paper it's written on. In particular, this was highlighted through our work with foreign and Commonwealth soldiers who had been abandoned by the system, by Britain, by the Covenant. But recently we've come across a case which really, really puts this all in perspective. When this lady first came through our door, I have to tell you there was utter shock in this building. We are battle hard with this. We've seen shocking things before. But to see a 64-and-a-half-year-old woman being told in writing that she had to go and sleep on the streets with the thought that someone might find her to help her is amazing. And people in here at Veterans Aid were genuinely stunned. And indeed, I have to tell you, upset. We couldn't understand why a woman, a veteran, who served her country and served the nation as a nurse, had been left basically to rot and go into the danger that is the streets of London. The streets are genuinely dangerous for anyone. It truly is a predator environment. That would be for anyone as a young man, as a young person. But for an elderly woman who is extremely vulnerable, poor mental health state, I find it incredible that anyone would even suggest it. So forget the part that she was in the military. I just think as a nation, we must ask ourselves some serious questions here. How do we look after our vulnerable citizens? What we're looking at is a complete system failure. So covenants, NHS plans, everything failed this woman. As soon as Marilyn came in from the Passage Day Centre, we realised the dire straits she was in. As with everything we do, the first thing is to make the people safe and secure. We did that immediately. We got her off the street, and that was the last moment she ever spent on the streets. That's how we do business at Veterans Aid. She was clearly distressed, clearly depressed, but we were able to get her into a place of safety immediately, and we started caring for her, as we do with everyone else in this circumstance. The issue was what to do with her, where to put her with people who understood and could support her. We have a partner agency in Scotland whom we think the world of, and we thought of all people we could work with her and knew they would care for her and put their heart and soul into it. She is safe, she is well. We've got a 64-year-old nurse, served her country, worked for the NHS as a senior nurse, and she's told to go and sleep in the streets. Well, I'm afraid that really is proof that this Armed Forces Covenant, which so much effort went into, simply isn't working. It's a bit like, for me, it's a bit like buying a new train, all the passengers are on board, we've no destination, and we've no driver. So where are we going to go with it? We need a good hard look at this now, because it simply isn't working.